Thanks for coming to the peer mentoring workshop today.
Hi, my name is Kirsten Romer. And
I'm Cristina Spencer.
We're both leadership coaches and co-founders of Impact Guild. We're a startup based in Palo Alto, and we're really about creating personal growth with a supportive community. And our hope is to help women in our community live lives that are more connected to themselves and to others, more creative, and that ultimately have a positive impact. And in our first phase, what we're doing so far is unique and inspiring events. We had Tara Moore, who that's how we got to know Josie. And if you don't know her, her book, Playing Big, is wonderful. So want to recommend that. But we're doing women's circles, workshops, and we're also planning a sleepaway camp for women. Ooh, I love that.
Yeah. That's what everyone says. Ooh. Yeah, that's why we're doing it.
Yeah.
So before we started today, we wanted to introduce you to your fearless leaders who are providing you with this workshop. Meet Amy Chu and Josie Sullivan. They have been fabulous partners in creating this experience, and in particular, they fought hard to get us this room.
Yeah, so how about this
very
room?
Thankful to them.
Yeah. Yeah, so we know that this is the middle of the afternoon, you've been sitting, and so we want to get you standing up and moving shortly. We're going to start with the demo, and the task at hand is to, we'll be doing a round robin where you go around and try and meet as many people as you can saying, my name is, and my dream is. So with Amy and Josie's help, we'd like to demo that.
And the thing here is, you might not have arrived here with your dream for your life on your tip of your tongue.
You don't know your dream.
To have fun with this, you can try many different dreams on. You can stick with one and introduce yourself the same way every time. But the idea is to kind of loosen up and introduce yourself in a little bit more open and authentic way. So.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I want to start an impactful social enterprise.
Hi, my name's Cristina, and I want to be a successful author.
Hi, my name is Amy, and
my name is Josie, and I want to create an online platform for women who hate to shop.
My name is Kirsten,
and I
want to lead an organization that touches lives in meaningful ways, including my own. Great. Okay. So what we're going to do is have you all stand up, and we're going to go to the back of the room where there's space, and we're going to tell you when to start, and you'll know when it's time to finish because we're going to raise our hand, and if you see us with our hands up, please raise your hand. So that's a quiet way.
It works kind of like the waves. Soon the whole room has their hands raised, and we know that it's the activity is coming to a close.
Okay. And so if you could go ahead and go to the back of the room.
Where it's easy to walk around.
And maybe give us 4 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and we need to cut it off sooner. Okay.
So why don't you guys go ahead and get started? Well, we started with that exercise because we wanted to create an experience that generates positivity resonance. Are you going to click? Yeah. And positivity resonance is actually a scientifically documented phenomenon. It's been documented by Barbara Fredrickson, who's a psychologist at University of North Carolina. Her organization is called the PEP Lab, and they study positive emotions. And positivity resonance is when you have a moment of connection with a person. It can be very short, but it's a moment of connection and getting each other. She calls it a micro moment of connection or a micro moment of love. It's important because it does three things. One thing is it actually changes your body chemistry. There's a little squirt of oxytocin that relaxes your body. It softens your facial gestures. It opens your body gestures and makes you generally appear more open to relationship. And it actually widens your peripheral vision. So that all happens just in a moment of connection. In addition, cognitively, it actually allows your thinking to expand. People have broader thinking, and they have more ideas when they're in this energy of positivity resonance. And then the third thing is with those two sort of mind-body things together, it actually increases the warmth of your relationships, and it broadens your network. People who generate more positivity resonance tend to have more relationships, and they tend to be deeper and more meaningful.
Yeah. And to build on that a little bit, here's a quote from the author of The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron. And what this is about, this is very similar to the quote we had when you walked in about together we go far. It's that your career success, and I would argue our life success, is really dependent on having a network of positive relationships. And that's really the foundation for what we see as peer mentoring. So we want to ask you, what are the qualities of an ideal peer mentor from your experience? Please. Good listener. Yeah. Trust.
Yeah. Yeah. And
motivates you. Yeah.
I say wisdom and experience. That can be professional experience and life experience.
That's one of our favorites. Yeah. So all of those things. And we want to offer one more frame to it. And the frame is that you're with a fellow journey person. So what we mean by that is that we are all in the ocean of our lives, trying to swim to some distant shore. And what you really don't want is you don't want someone, waving at you from the bank of arrival saying like, this is how you do it, this is the advice to succeed. That doesn't really feel good. What you want is someone who is in the experience of yearning for success, yearning for a dream. You want to have that together.
And we say journey person or persons because it can be on a one-on-one relationship, or it can also be very effective in the context of a circle. And so some of the qualities that we see that are important is that the journey can be similar or different. Maybe you're both in the financial sector. Maybe you're both leading nonprofit organizations. Maybe you're at a place in life where you're trying to balance career and family. Maybe your journeys are completely different, but the key is you're committed to one another. And the second part is, you can begin this peer mentoring all about the destination. I want to get here, help me get here. But what I really want to emphasize to you is the importance of the journey. Every little step, every little moment of courage, every little learning, every celebration, having that journey partner with you is going to make all the difference.
Yeah. And along with that goes as willingness to be vulnerable and understanding that our lives are precious. Like every moment is precious. And so you want to be with someone who's willing to be open, honest, authentic. And you've made the agreement like you don't have time for small talk, right? There's no time for small talk. And the other thing is this idea of commitment to each other's success and to their life purpose. When you're committed to each other's success, there's a sense that you lift each other up. One person being successful helps the other person be successful, and you can kind of pull each other along. And the other thing is you're also really committed to the person living with a sense of purpose.
Okay. Now, why does life purpose matter? Well, this study was done by McKinsey under the Centered Leadership Project. And what they've discovered is that women derive 40% of their job satisfaction from doing work with meaning. And that is one of the big goals that we have in peer mentoring. And we think it's attributed to three main attitudes.
Yeah. So in a peer mentoring relationship, because it's open, it's honest, it's authentic, you're going to experience like relationships that go a little deeper. And when you go deeper with your relationship, you'll actually get a deeper sense of your purpose. The three attitudes we've identified in the work that we do with women, these attitudes really help successful peer mentoring relationships. An attitude of curiosity, courage, and commitment.
Yeah, so let's look at curiosity first. And someone did say curiosity in here, right? This is what we see far too often. It's an example of when the attitude of curiosity is not present.
Yeah. What we're looking for is something more like this Stephen Covey quote, where you're listening to understand another person. This is actually pretty different than how we normally listen. We're normally listening to come up with like what we're going to say next, right? But in the exercise that we're going to do next, we want to help you practice listening to understand. There's a sense of fascination. There's a sense of wonder at the magnificence of this person that you may know very well, you may know not at all. And what comes to mind for me is the sense of like how Darwin studied his finches. He got really, really interested in them. And also, the important thing is you drop opinion and assumption, right? You're just open and you're trying to understand the territory of this other human being.
Great. So now we're going to try this on, this attitude of curiosity. And we see that there are two skills that we attribute to it. It's called powerful questions and active listening. Now, we've already talked a little bit about active listening, but we want to share with you the idea of powerful questions. Here are some examples, all connected to the My Dream Is activity. And the key things is they tend to be short, they're open-ended, and they usually begin with what?
Yeah. So the rest of the workshop is going to be about attitudes like curiosity, and then we're going to support those attitudes with skills. So this will be our first exercise where we practice the skill of powerful listening, powerful questions and active listening, and Kirsten and I are going to demo this for you.
Yeah, so first of all, is everybody paired with a partner? If you don't have a partner, raise your hand.
Okay, great.
Great, even numbers. Okay, so look at your partner, and if you have short hair, raise your hand. The shorter hair. You are partner A, and you will remain partner A through the course of this workshop.
Does everybody have what they need?
So you have your partner.
Any questions?
And we're going to demo it for you first. Sorry about that. So, and in each of these, we're going to do 3 activities before we do a wrap up in the end. And in each one, we're going to do a little demo for you to kind of tee you up so you know what's happening here. Okay, so I'm going to be partner B, the mentor.
Yeah, and I'll be partner A. And what I want to say is we've given you guys a list of powerful questions. You can use them. You can also come up with your own. Again, there are these questions that usually start with the word what, which is a lovely, non-judgmental, open word. If you leave this room with one thing, it's the skill of asking questions that start with the word what.
Yeah.
They're open-ended and they elicit so much good, juicy information. And the second thing I want to say is that when you go through this exercise, there may be pauses in the conversation because the person who's listening is just listening. And that's okay. We sort of invite that. Sometimes people need a little more time for their thinking. And there can also be kind of like a hiccup of like, what do I do next? And that's when you kind of can go into the suggested questions that we have.
And so just to explain what we'll be doing is Christina's going to share her dream with me. And I'm going to ask her questions, and I'm only going to listen. I'm not going to offer any opinions. I'm not going to problem solve. That's really hard. But in this exercise, we hope you see that it's so critical, because here, in curiosity, I really want to understand the territory that we're in, the context. Okay, Amy, can you let me know when we're about 2 minutes? Great. Okay, are you ready? Okay. Christina, what's your dream?
My dream is to be a successful writer.
So I can dive right into, well, what do you want to write about? Do you have an author? And I could focus on the writing, but the starting point here is really going to be on Cristina, okay? Cristina, what's important to you about being a successful author?
Well, I think what's important to me about being a successful writer is that I'm producing written work that has a positive influence on people, that inspires people. And I think for me, success is about writing that kind of lasts or lingers. Like I have this, I have books in my mind that just live with me, and I want to produce that kind of writing.
What does linger mean to you?
I think lingering for me means that like when the person reads those words, it almost becomes a part of them. Like I want to write, I guess like that intimately, to write things that really touch people deeply and they feel like, oh yeah, that feels like a part of me now.
And how will people be changed by your writing?
My hope is that people will feel inspired. But I think even more than that, I want people to feel liberated. I want people to feel like that they can bring more of their whole selves into interaction. I really actually want that for women. Yeah.
And what will it feel like when you finally take that title on?
It's hard to even imagine. Like, I get a little bit scared thinking about it.
Yeah.
But I think taking that title on, or like feeling like that I've arrived in being a successful writer, will be for me like belonging to a tribe of people who are changing culture.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to pause here. My next question is, tell me about that. It might be about the tribe or changing culture. But do you see how this kind of conversation was very different than, well, what do you want to write about? Okay. All right. So partner A is going to share their dream. Partner B is going to ask questions and only listen. And we're going to give you about 5 minutes. Then we'll raise our hand and let you know when it's time to switch. All right. So what was it like to listen and only listen?
Oh, it's so hard. It's so hard because I'm a small business owner. So my boyfriend and I run, he does the finances and I do photography. That's what we do. And I find that I'm not listening at all. And I'm trying to tell him how he feels and what he thinks. And to actively do business together, that's not effective, And so while I'm here listening to what she's thinking, I'm actually letting her dream. Yes. And then that's okay. Like, I don't have to tell her how I feel about it. I think that's really powerful in itself.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
I think it's also really hard because you're getting a lot of positive affirmation when you're listening, like, oh yeah, that's great, I fully agree with you. I'm just listening, I'm not telling you. So that was challenging too.
I think this is a skill I'd like to develop more in myself. And so I found it very useful in that regard. But I actually found like it was really lovely listening to somebody else and finding just through your questions you could feel that common ground just through the questions you ask and the way that you sort of follow the story with the other person.
Doing this exercise made me realize how selfish I am when I think seriously, I ask a lot of questions thinking like this is showing interest and I'm learning more about you, but the questions that I ask are only giving me information to increase my knowledge. It's not helping the other person think any further. So I thought it was really helpful, and I found myself shutting off my brain sometimes when I was just trying to listen and not offer advice or say, oh, you can do this, or I know someone that does this.
Yeah, it's a different kind of presence, right?
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah.
I will take it from the other side. So not only just asking questions and listening better and trying to get thought-provoking, but also from the person being asked the question. The questions actually not only express the fact to show that they're interested in what I'm saying, but it also helped me to think and articulate things that maybe are kind of vague in my mind and I'm not sure how to express it. So those questions keep triggering new thoughts and I keep thinking, oh yeah, maybe this isn't as vague as I thought it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That languaging is really important in terms of helping us progress our dreams.
Just as asking the questions, and I don't know her, we just met 5 minutes ago, but I wanted to actually see achieve that. So it was interesting, like listening to her kind of, I don't want to say you were struggling through your answers, but we're all like thoughtfully thinking about our answers, and so that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, I just found so much of myself in her dream, and I felt like I was being quiet and not saying too much, but
Yeah.
really feeling that empathy of like, oh, that's really so great.
Yeah, that connection is always wanting to come forward, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and kind of build up that too. I felt like there were a lot of times she was talking, and I wanted to, I kind of understood what I thought, I understood where she was coming from, and I wanted to kind of finish her sentence or kind of read, and just to hold that back and just not say anything, just let her kind of finish out her thought.
Yeah.
I have a habit of drawing conversation back to me, like, oh yeah, me too.
Well, it's a way of like connecting and like supporting, right? You want to say like, I get you, I validate you. Yeah.
This is what happened to me one time. I was like, and then she's like, okay, I failed.
No. We're learning. We're trying these. Yeah.
But this right now, what you guys did, or what you guys just taught us, it helped me shut up and just listen to her. And I always struggle with that approach because I want to communicate with people, and I've always struggled, how do I dig deeper? And so I feel like through this, I feel like I could now guide.
Right. The word "what" is going to be your new best friend.
Yeah. And I just want to share one of the things that some of you were talking about, some real connections you've made with maybe strangers that you're paired up with. When we first put the positivity resonant slide up there, we were thinking, well, this is an MBA crowd, so we can't have it be too wishy-washy. But the real definition of positivity resonance is a micro moment of love.
Yeah.
When you have, and it's love, not in the sense that we typically think of it, but when you have real connection with a person who's expressing their real, authentic selves.
Yeah.
So thanks for getting squishy with us.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Should we?
All right.
We're going to move on to our next attitude, which is courage. I love this Maya Angelou quote. And what we mean by courage is a couple things. One of the things it means really showing up in the partnership with your full set of strength and creativity and brilliance, really, and believing in yourself as that, as strong and brilliant, and being willing to think bigger. Because one of the things is that we can only offer to other people what we offer to ourselves. So if we can't really be there for ourselves, it's really hard to be there for other people. So in these kind of peer mentoring relationships, it's important to show up fully. My coach calls it to be like a guardian angel of nakedness, that kind of brave vulnerability, but also with just a lot of your vitality and energy and willingness to be big.
So the skills that we associate with this definition of courage are brainstorming with range and finding a resonant path. Now, we all know what brainstorming is, but I'm not talking about that kind of brainstorming. I'm talking about the kind of brainstorming that brings about transformative ideas. And so the way that happens is when you're brainstorming with a partner, and this is where you do get to talk, for those of us that are excited to do that, it's like, yes, and then you can throw some real zingers in there. And sometimes the most outrageous ideas gets them shaken up, gets them thinking out of this logical path of the things that they already know they need to do, to something that can make a tremendous difference in what it is they really want to achieve. Yeah.
So what's going to happen is when the person who is assisting the brainstormer is throwing in these kind of interesting, other more brave, kind of creative aspects of the brainstorming, there's going to be moments where there's like a little bit more energy. It could be like an excitement. There could be a sense of like sizzle. There could also be real emotion. Sometimes when you do this kind of brainstorming and someone brings up something that you hadn't thought about, you actually like there can be tears at the edge of someone's eyes. There can be, what we're looking for with resonance is just a sense of like emotion and connection that feels very alive in the moment.
So I'll take you through the next exercise, and again, Cristina and I will demo it. So once again, partner A will be the mentee, and their job is to really just to kick off the ideas that are already in their head. And then the mentor will support that, especially when they hit a lull, to throw in things that might be logical, but definitely throw in crazy ones.
And then one other thing that I want to add in is that this brainstorm is about actions you can take toward your dream. Now, when we've done this before, sometimes people are like, I don't know what my dream is yet. So in that case, what you want to do is you want to be thinking about actions you could take that might get you closer to your dream, or that might expose you to things, or it's kind of creating actions that are exploratory, right? So if you don't know what your dream is yet, it doesn't mean that you don't take action. It means that actually there's just a different kind of action that's going to be taken.
Okay, so we're going to demo this with you. Oh, and you know what? We have an example, the Seattle example.
You can go.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you an example of what we mean by brainstorming with range. So let's say you want to go to Seattle. And the obvious choices might be, well, I could fly, or you could drive a car or a bus. And you can kind of go on this sort of logical path. But what if your partner says, or you could roller skate? And you might like, yeah, I'm not going to roller skate. But then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know, my best friend since when I was a little girl, we've been wanting to get together in a road trip. I want to take a road trip with my friend to Seattle. So that's how these crazy things like roller skate open you up to things that are inside, okay? So let's see what we come up with here. All right, Cristina, can you tell me your dream again?
So my dream is to be a successful writer.
Yeah, so let's brainstorm about some actions you can take.
So I could write a book. I could write articles. I can keep writing for my blog.
Yes, you could write a recipe.
Yeah, that makes me think of my mom. And my mom inspires me about sort of the topic of writing. Yeah, I could talk to my mom about what I want to write.
Yeah.
What else? I could, I could take a writing class.
Yes.
I could find a writing peer mentor.
Yes, you can write an article about a circus.
Ooh, I kind of like that. I kind of want to write an article about a circus now. Well, but it makes me think I should definitely write an article about the next writer's retreat I'm going to.
Ah.
Yeah, I definitely want to do that. Yeah.
You could skinny dip.
Okay, so you know what that makes me think is that it reminds me that when I'm writing, I always have to be writing with a naked heart. Like that, I always want to write sort of that vulnerable and that real. And that actually makes me feel really like I can get into motion with my writing.
Yeah, so talking to your mom, I was supposed to be writing these down. And then getting real, getting naked with your writing. I've got all of book, blog, okay, I'm caught up.
So other things I have is I want to have a writer's group.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I want to write a letter to Mary Pfeiffer.
Ah.
That's weird. I do. I really want to write a letter to Mary Pfeiffer. She's very inspiring to me. And when I think about the kind of writing that lingers, she's one of the authors that comes up to me. So, yeah.
That's great. Okay, so we're going to pause here. And so raise your hand if you saw resonance when she talked about writing a book or a blog.
Oh. You know, the ideas were different, they were discussed also. So how do you make sure that they don't steer away from the distraction?
Well, so I could give her some legitimate ones, and that's fine. You can give her legitimate ones. But she kind of knows the legitimate ones, writing a book, a blog, an article, those kinds of things. And you can, if you have one that's sort of on that path, that's fine. It's like, yes, and, you can do that. But when you throw in some of the crazy ones, that's when they kind of get into a different space, where they go from the logical mind to the imaginative mind. And I think try it out and see what it's like.
And Kirsten also went zany, but she didn't go like bold, which is another way you could go. You could write an op-ed for the New York Times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
You could actually hand in your book proposal at the end of the week. I could, so there's kind of zany ones, but there's also like really kind of like get them out there, like doing their dream like tomorrow. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Before we get started? Okay. So we're going to give you 5 minutes on each side again. And have fun with this.
So when you're scribing, make sure you're scribing on your partner's paper so that they have it to take with them.
Yeah.
Have fun. This is really fun.
Brainstorming with range.
That's cool.
Yeah. We heard, Amy. Interesting, yeah.
Okay, we have to ask, were there any wacky ideas?
They were bold.
I like bold.
Go to Mars.
Go to Mars, okay.
I did actually have it did actually resonate with something because we were talking about career pathways and those sorts of things, and made me think of there's a part of the program of the last program is a whole lot of people sort of living the big brother life to see if you could how long you could handle living with those people, and that was like, well, it's actually something I need to focus on. So it's important to know who I work with. So that's actually important. So I did actually find a pathway to being this.
Cool. Anything else?
You kind of just have one good one. When she's like, quit her job and travel the world, and like, first of all, we're just like full time, and it's like, okay, neither of us is going to do that, but we kind of travel a little and do our dream like
Yeah, totally, right? You can get bites of it. Yeah. Love it.
They told me that I could take the resources together and how we talk about.
Did you get anything from it? Did you sign up for that? Yeah. Yeah. Was anyone really bold? Did anyone go sort of, run for president or something like that? Yeah.
I suggested start your own running studio.
What'd that feel like?
Yeah.
Good.
And how did that feel?
Awesome. You can do that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's right. That's the courage. You had the courage to go farther. And it turned out like that's kind of what she wanted, right? So that's the importance of being really courageous in these suggestions. They're not all going to land, but when they do, it's like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that. Anything else? Yeah. All right. So the next attitude that we're going to talk about is commitment. And the thing about commitment is you need to be committed to yourself and to your partner and to the process.
And the skills we attribute to commitment are two sides. One, if you're the mentee, it's committing to action. It's an action that you're going to take. I commit to blank within a certain time frame. And then the mentor's role is to championing them. And that is, I know you can do this because.
Yeah.
Okay? And why is that important?
Yeah. So,
and why? Go ahead.
So two things. Where were you going to go?
I was going to go.
You go where you were going to go.
And then on championing, here's the thing, and this is one of the most important roles of being a peer mentor. It's a little bit about what you touched on about they need to believe in you. It's even they need to see you bigger than you see yourself.
This is really important, especially for women, especially for any kind of person who falls outside the dominant narrative or paradigm of how things are done. I mean, so women's studies is actually my field, gender studies. And what we know is that we live in a world that was not built by us, right? So there's for creative, generative people in this environment, there can be a am I crazy feeling, right? And it's very, very important that we hold each other big and help each other bring in change, because bringing in change is hard. But presumably people who want to do creative work, they want to bring change. And so we need each other to keep seeing the other person and their potential.
So in this activity, what we're going to ask you to do is to just give yourself a moment. We'll demo it first, but to really think about what it is you want to commit to, what's really going to move you towards your dream, and in what time frame. And then after that, then the mentor, take a moment to really think about, you've been through several stages of conversation, think about what you can authentically say. It might be, I know you can do this because you have so much passion around this. I know you can do this because you have already done this. So you have to just see what comes up for you and trust that instinct.
Yeah, and so again, it's here really championing the biggest version of the person you see in front of you based on actual evidence. So it's big and it's grounded in what's real.
Let's see how we do.
Yeah.
Oops.
So what I'm going to commit to is I want to write that article about writers' retreats. I want to go on my writer's retreat and I want to write an article about it. And I'm going to do that by, I think I can do it by the end of spring break. It's a little aggressive, but I think I can do it.
Cristina, I know you can do this because you are a writer. And you want to bring those messages out into the world that will linger, that will touch and move your readers.
So it's simple.
Yeah.
What do we want to do? You guys think you're ready for that?
Yeah, so maybe just give yourself, maybe this is a time, because this is sort of a big place, maybe just kind of just have a quiet moment.
To sort of think about what you want to commit to. And also, a bit on what you want to commit to. And also, this partner who may be new to you, what do you really see in them? And what do you want to tell them who they are in this moment to you? Good?
Yeah.
I feel like we know each other, but we just met. Like I would hire her to work for me. And not just because you make me look good. No, I think it's really, it's like a lost art with the technology and the fast-paced life that we have. I think it's not a tool or a skill that is, if you do have it, you're not honing it. I think it's so good to be able to sit down and look someone in the eye and encourage them, and actually sincerely mean it and not do it conditionally. And I don't know, I just think that I don't know, it's almost like I don't even want to say it was awkward, because it wasn't awkward once I got over myself. And I just realized what the concept was. So maybe that's because I'm a psychology major.
Thank you. No, that's beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to be both committed to something about the end of March, and so we're going to email each other so we have the deadline person and we have
That's a peer mentor right there.
Yeah.
Good. Lovely.
Yeah, and she loves good to follow up. And short-term goals and follow-up.
Wonderful.
Good.
I think this is the most productive thinking and talking that I've done about school that I have.
Absolutely.
Just doing off to that, I totally agree. The experimentation with your friends and it doesn't get this. And you don't really explore what your motivations are, what your actual goals are. And you have a different type of conversation here if you're listening.
Thank you.
And piggybacking on YouTube, I just experienced I feel like you can figure out a problem that I've been thinking about for years. And I just met you, it's just so oh my god, you're right, I to think about that time to do both. Because I was in a situation, I was going to go one route, but she just told me something you could do. She just both were
Awesome. Love it. Yeah.
I think what was so profound for me was that I don't think I actually told her to do anything. But yeah, at the end she's like, I quit today. You had this whole phase, whole time, what happened? But I obviously told her to go on the walkabout, so I don't know
Yeah. So one thing I would add to this as people commit to actions and, you know, are staying in touch, you'll be amazed what happens when people take their actions. What happens in the relationship, within the peer mentoring relationship, when the other partner does the thing they say they're going to do. You're like, oh my gosh, I'd kind of fallen behind on my thing, and I'm completely going to do it. It has this way of kind of you're not on a walkabout alone, right? Yeah. You're kind of pulling each other along, and you know, you have a bad week, it's not going that well, but your partner had a good week, and you're like, oh yeah, I can get back on it. It kind of builds a resilience into the process that you're working on. Yeah.
And so one of the things we want you to do is just stop and pause for a moment and think about who your peer mentor might be. It might be qualities, but just see if there's someone that comes up that you can reach out to.
There's someone in your life that you want to kind of be on this kind of a journey with. You know, because part of the attitude of courage is asking someone to be in this kind of relationship, right? That takes some courage. Like, I want to not talk small talk with you anymore. And I'll tell you, my experience has been sometimes people have showed up in my life who I didn't really know that we were going to be that close, but they've asked to be in this kind of relationship with me, and it's been like amazing that you know, you get the sense of someone else who's on a journey, and when you kind of hook arms together, it's really empowering, and it might not be the people who come to the top of your head right away.
Yeah. Like. All right, so we do have one final activity, but before we do that...
Yeah, we just have a little bit of housekeeping. So we have a mailing list if you want to sign up and find out about other events that we'll be hosting in the area, our sleepaway camp when it happens, stuff like that. Our sign-up sheet is in the back, and we also have cards in the back if you ever want to be in touch.
Yeah.
So.
And we are coaches, and we like to offer all of you a free session if you'd like. Most coaching is done over the phone, so just email us, and we'd love to connect with you. Yeah. So for this last activity, we'd like you to walk with your partner to the back of the room. Stay with your partner, and we're going to form a circle.
Yeah, in the back part of the room.
You ask people when they're done, there's a feedback option on the app.
Okay.
And then you can get feedback.
Sure.
No. Well,
I
can do it too if you prefer. It breaks the flow, but
Should we do it?
okay, I'll do it at the end. Yeah. Perfect.
So we might have to get in a little tight,
Yeah,
but we do want to make one circle.
We're not breaking up partners, are we? Okay.
No. Okay. So we've had the privilege of being at the front of the room, and we've been able to see all of you engaged in conversations and see your beautiful faces. And I'd like you to just take a moment to look around the room and see these extraordinary women with extraordinary dreams. And I'd like to express gratitude for all of the wonderful ideas that you shared in the room. It really made this alive for us.
And so the way we're going to close is we are actually going to introduce our partner to the room, and I'm going to demonstrate. Well, Kirsten, do you want to demonstrate with me?
Yes,
Yeah.
and the language here is, this is, and she is going to, and say the dream, the big dream, okay? This is Cristina, and she is going to be a successful author.
This is Kirsten, and she is going to lead an organization that touches the lives of thousands and thousands of women and touches her own life too.
This is Marianne, and she is going to find her career path, her dream career path.
This is Genevieve, and she's going to write a book. This is Sophia, and she's going to do the peer mentoring with her cohort with her.
This is Elaine. She's going to start a nonprofit and be an impactful student. Okay?
This is Kelly, and she is going to bring more women to work in her company.
This is Allie, and she is going to figure out what she wants to do with her life.
This is Janice, and she's going to help others by creating social impact.
This is Shazia, and she's going to transform how people think about money and build wealth.
This is Amy, and she's going to figure out what she's interested in within social impact.
This is Serena, and she's going to develop an impactful technology to help in developing people.
This is Nina, and she is going to live a happy life.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
This is Kristen, and she's going to transform healthcare and make it a better experience for patients and make it all better.
This is Hillary, and she's going to use her skills to create a successful life.
This is Nisha. She's going to find a career that makes her happy and adds value to the world.
This is Mika, and she's going to create pathways for women to find happiness through STEM careers.
This is Michelle, and our dreams are very common. She's going to start a mentorship program which is going to benefit kids and their families.
This is Cameron, and she's going to go on kind of personal journey of growth and learning to find a career path that has a positive impact on other people.
This is Shelby, and she's going to take her professional skills that she has now and translate them into a job that helps more people.
Divya, and she's going to use her successful career in finance to give back to rural villages.
This is Ashley, and she's going to be a doctor for leader, transforming the healthcare career, and she's also going to inculcate leadership qualities, include environment, and empowerment. This is Cristina. She's going to create the best sustainable food to everyone.
Yummy.
This is Samantha. She's going to open a no-kill animal shelter. This is Grace, who's going to be the best known, her company is going to be the best place for investors to connect and access.
This is Joanna, and she's going to rock the CEO position, and within that organization, she's going to create a sub-organization to create something like this, and let women experience the change in networks.
This is Anshul, and she will be changing Oakland and making it a better community for everybody to live there.
Thank you for you.
This is Kate, and she's going to create a more tight-knit community where everyone can feel supported and feel creative. This is Therese, and she's going to create an inner-city youth agency enterprise to better the community and give back to the society.
This is Angelica. She's going to be a powerhouse for the dynamic American family therapist, changing the lives of families in her community, and she'll be the #1 go-to photographer. And she is now, so clear.
This is Margaret. She is going to be a wonderful mother one day and also be an entrepreneur, and will create a product that will change people's lives.
This is Michelle, and she is going to be traveling the world, impacting everyone in this world in one way or another, especially with a product that will benefit third world countries.
This is Ellen, and she's going to merge her background in music and technology into a career that will be merging both music and development.
And this is Shubhamgi, and she's going to transform healthcare with a medical device company who's going to start.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Kirsten, a panel day for a workshop that they led in Palo Alto, but we asked them to come and teach and do this, and there's been a ton of work that went into this, so thank you. I'm glad that you all have the experience that I had with them. And then
I also want to let you know with the app, I'm sure most of you have downloaded it, there's a feedback form. We want to be really helpful for them to hear your thoughts and what worked and what didn't. And for the conference overall, as they move forward in planning and deciding which sessions to include. So please take time to provide feedback. We really appreciate it.
And sign up for their mailing list too.
That's great. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.